For most of his life, Jordan Miller believed that people didn't really change. That personalities were fixed, that circumstances were the cards you were dealt, and that dreams were mostly for the naive. He was a 38-year-old forklift operator in Dayton, Ohio, working long hours at a distribution warehouse. His life felt like a loop. Wake up early, go to work, clock out exhausted, grab takeout, and collapse in front of the TV until sleep took over. Jordan wasn't unhappy exactly, but he wasn't living. He was surviving. One cold February morning, everything shifted. It wasn't dramatic. It wasn't loud. It came quietly, in the break room of his job while he was stirring powdered creamer into his coffee. A new guy named Malcolm, tall with kind eyes and a quiet presence, joined the company. Jordan had seen guys like Malcolm come and go, but something about him stood out. He seemed calm. Peace. Like he knew something Jordan didn't. "You read much?" Malcolm asked one day. "Not really," Jordan replied. "Don't have the time." "You have the time," Malcolm said with a slight smile. "You just don't prioritize it yet." Jordan raised an eyebrow. That stung. But instead of brushing it off, he asked, "What do you read?" "Books that remind me I'm in control of my life," Malcolm answered. "That the mind is like software. You can reprogram it." Sounded like nonsense to Jordan, but he was intrigued. A few days later, Malcolm handed him a worn-out paperback titled As a Man Thinketh by James Allen. "This book changed my life," Malcolm said. "If you're open to it, maybe it can start to change yours." Jordan chuckled. "We'll see." He tossed it in his truck and forgot about it for days. Then one night, after a rough shift and an argument with his ex over child support, Jordan found himself sitting in his truck outside a gas station, gripping the steering wheel, his mind racing. He saw the book on the passenger seat and decided to read the first few pages. Something in the language clicked. It wasn't just about thinking positively. It was about responsibility, taking control of your thoughts and realizing they shape your reality. He read for an hour, then 2. That night, Jordan didn't turn on the TV. He went straight to bed, his mind buzzing with a strange sense of possibility. Over the next week, he read more. Then he picked up The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle. Then Atomic Habits by James Clear. He started to realize how much of his life was on autopilot, how he was reacting instead of creating, surviving instead of living. He decided to test this idea of shifting his mind. He started with small things. Instead of grumbling through the morning routine, he tried being present. He put on upbeat music while getting dressed. He replaced his usual fast food breakfast with a protein shake he made himself. He even took 10 minutes to sit quietly and just breathe before work. It felt awkward at first, but slowly, something began to shift. Coworkers noticed. He wasn't snapping at people as much. He was more patient. He laughed more. Even his supervisor, Frank, complimented him on his attitude. "You're glowing, man," said Lisa, a single mom who worked the next lane over. "You seeing someone?" Jordan laughed. "Nope. Just working on me." One day, Malcolm invited Jordan to a Saturday morning community meetup, a small group of people who shared books, ideas, and encouraged each other to grow. Jordan was hesitant but curious. That first meeting was filled with people from all walks of life. Nurses, teachers, retired folks, entrepreneurs, each with stories of how shifting their mindset had helped them through pain, loss, and obstacles. He heard stories of recovery from addiction, rebuilding after divorce, overcoming poverty, and rediscovering dreams once buried under years of self-doubt. It was raw, inspiring, and real. And for the first time in a long while, Jordan didn't feel alone. He began journaling each night. At first, it was just a few sentences about his day. But soon he was writing about his thoughts, his past, and, most importantly, his vision for the future. For the first time in his adult life, Jordan allowed himself to dream. He remembered how he used to love fixing things as a kid, taking apart radios and putting them back together. He wondered what it would take to become a mechanic. He Googled community college courses. It seemed impossible with his current schedule and finances, but then he remembered something from one of Malcolm's favorite quotes. You don't need to know the whole staircase, just take the first step. So he did. He called the admissions office, talked to a counselor, enrolled in a night class, just one. It was hard. He'd wake up at 5 a.m. for work, do a full shift, then drive straight to class, getting home by 10:30 p.m. But it felt worth it. For the first time, exhaustion didn't feel like defeat. Felt like progress. Jordan also worked on mending his relationship with his 12-year-old daughter, Avery. He used to cancel weekend plans out of fatigue or frustration, but now he made time. He showed up. He brought her to the library, helped her with homework, listened more. She started opening up in ways she hadn't in years. "You've changed," she told him once. "You seem happier." He smiled. "I think I am." Months passed. His mindset continued to shift. He started helping others at work, training new hires, sharing books, offering encouragement. The same way Malcolm had sparked change in him, Jordan became that spark for others. 2 years after that first conversation with Malcolm, Jordan stood on a small stage at a community graduation ceremony. He had completed his certification in automotive repair and landed an apprenticeship at a reputable garage in town. His co-workers from the warehouse showed up. Avery clapped the loudest. When he took the mic to give a short speech, he looked out into the crowd and said, "I used to believe that life was something that just happened to me. But I've learned it's something you can shape. I used to think my thoughts were just thoughts. But I've learned they're the blueprint for the life I live. Change your mind and you can change your life. I'm living proof." That night, as he sat on his porch with a cup of tea, no longer beer, no longer fast food, Jordan watched the stars and thought about the man he used to be. He didn't hate that version of himself. He understood him. But he was grateful he didn't stay stuck. He texted Malcolm a simple message. "Thank you for planting the seed." Malcolm replied, "All I did was remind you of what was already inside." Because that was the real truth. The power to change had always been there. The shift had begun with a thought. And a single thought had changed everything.